handling the delete method is going to be similar to working with the post method. So here I am in my feedback.js file. That's this file right here in the public folder. And what we need to do is add an additional element right underneath here. And it's essentially going to be our button. So I'm going to type in some Bootstrap code here to create the button. And what I want to do here is make sure that I create an ID that has the index of which item this is. So remember, I have a list of items that people have typed in, and I need to make sure that I know which one people are clicking on. So on each one of these buttons, I'm going to give them an ID using the key that we get right here as we go through each one of the items. All right, let's go ahead and save that and switch back over to our application. And you can see the button right here. So now that we have the button, it's time to wire it up. So in the same file, we're going to create an additional sort of sequence, and it's going to be similar to what we've been doing before, but instead of using get or post, we're of course going to use delete. And to do that, first, I need to target the element called feedback messages that has a list of all my messages, and I'm going to target an event happening on that series of messages, right? So I'm going to look for the click event, and this needs to be in quotes right here. So whenever a click happens, I'm going to execute a function using the event that JavaScript is going to discover, right? And then with that event, what I want to do here is make sure that I verify that I am clicking specifically in the little checkbox that I created. If I just detect a click on the messages, what would happen is if I clicked anywhere, not just in this button, so if I clicked even on the text, or if I wanted to select some text, that click would actually start deleting my items. So I want to make sure that it's only if I've clicked on one of these items. So I will check to make sure that the target of the click has a class name of glyph icon and glyph icon remove. So both of these classes are in there. And then if that's true, then I'm going to execute an AJAX request. So this AJAX request is sort of like the post request above, but it's sort of a little less flexible. I have to submit a few more things in here. And what I do is pass along an object with the URL of the request, which is going to be API and then slash, and then it's going to get the ID from the target. So the event target ID. And I'm getting this from the fact that when I click on that element, right, which should be this button right here, then that element is going to have an ID with this key right here. So target ID, then I need to specify the type of request, and this will be delete. And then finally, what happens when this request is successful? And of course, I want to run that update feedback method again. Let's go ahead and comment these. All right, so let's go ahead and save that. And I'll make this bigger. Now I need to worry about the API route. And as I mentioned, this is going to be pretty similar to what we were doing with this post route. So I'm going to copy this. And of course, this is going to be a delete route. And this time I'm going to receive an item, or I'll just call this an ID here. And that will be coming through the request of feedback data. And what I want to do here is not really add something to feed data, but I want to delete one of the elements. And I can use the JavaScript splice method since I do have the ID coming in through the request, right? It's coming in this ID variable here. So what I'll do is request params ID, and then I want to just remove one element. So that'll work. And then I need to go ahead and write the file just like I did before. So this should work. I'm also going to fix a little kind of minor thing here. I'm going to make sure that I just don't output anything to the console, that I only output an error if there's an error message. So let's go ahead and do that on both of these. Save this, and we'll go back to the browser. Let's go ahead and add sort of a funny kind of a message here that we can delete. And then when I click on this, it'll delete that message. Let's go ahead and delete this notes, and it deletes that one as well. So as you can see, taking care of verbs other than get is pretty easy. Once you learn how to deal with verbs in route, the delete verb lets the route know that we want to delete some data. You modify that data with JavaScript, and then you write the file if you need to.